Whisky, vez.
JETT: The Far Shore was released in 2021 to some lukewarm reception, plagued by various issues but bolstered by a seemingly enjoyable story. Developer Super Brothers has created an expansion to hopefully remedy the critiques and allow the story to be fully realized. This expansion comes as a free update to the PlayStation and Epic Games Store version of it, and then it is finally released on Steam as JETT: The Far Shore Plus Given Time. Unfortunately, after playing the Steam version, I feel my experience might have been worse as a result. Throughout JETT: The Far Shore, you play as Mai, a pilot of the titular JETT, who explores a mostly ocean planet in search of a new home for her people. The opening scenes are loaded with terminology that can be fairly difficult to understand. Still, the basis of the plot is straightforward enough. Mai follows a mysterious force called the Him Wave as she explores the flora and fauna of the planet, eventually coming into contact with something called the Wild. I would love to provide a more concise summary of the story. However, I was unable to play through the base game as suggested. This is entirely due to a game-breaking glitch I encountered in the first chapter, causing an enemy to become untouchable and completely rip control of JETT away from me. I attempted this segment 5 times, but the result was always the same, eventually wearing me down significantly. Granted, the gameplay I did get to experience before the glitch was enjoyable, yet still a little clunky. The majority of it occurs aboard your JETT, letting you fly around various locales of the planet. You have a boost, a quick turn, multiple forms of consecutive blasts, and a collection of tools such as a grappling hook and a scanner. The scanner is the most important tool as it lets you study various aspects of the world, and as you study them, you can learn how some objects interact with others. This functionality is vital because, even though you are flying a plane, the experience is largely puzzle-based, as you interact with the environment in several ways to witness new events or proceed across the planet. To allow for both flight and exploration, your JETT has 2 modes. You could turn your scramjets on to slow you to a hover, but allow you to take the time to explore anything around or hide from aggressors. JETT is at its best when you are in the wide open spaces where you can simply boost along and enjoy the speed. The issues, which are minor but constant, begin the moment you take control. It's difficult to explain even though you're in a plane. You can't actually control your Z-axis freely. You can use a mechanic called pop to jump, yet this cannot be done consecutively or in the air. The JETT is perpetually fighting to return to a neutral altitude, meaning scaling cliffs can be challenging. This is compounded by your momentum, which weighs heavily on your ability to move at all. The slightest inclines rip your speed away, and trying to jump under these conditions throws you down the hill instead of up. There are several means to increase your jump height using the environment, though they aren't everywhere, meaning that you have to follow a path instead of carving your own. Speed is an issue because it only has 2 options. In the standard fight mode, you can boost, though whether you are boosting or not doesn't really affect your control. Your hover mode, however, fully stops you, and you use the boost button instead of inching yourself across the landscape. Plus, there's no middle speed. In flight mode, you don't stop unless you run into something, so the increased speed means decreased control and precision. Alternatively, hover gives you more control but forces you to crawl across the reasonably large world. Some facets are clearly designed with this in mind, yet there are many that aren't, causing frustration with the movement more often than not. Add the strange camera angles and the tank-like controls of your craft, and you have an experience that feels fun in wide open straight spaces and awkward and tight vertical or just crowded areas. Further, the camera itself is cumbersome, either being incredibly zoomed out in some places or way too close in others. This also makes the tank-like controls a bit more unwieldy by extension. The Giving Time campaign grants nearly total freedom with exploration, giving you the task of solving micro-puzzles in the environment to collect brine wisps. Collecting them all is the main objective, with every handful unlocking more of the narrative. These puzzles can be as simple as throwing a rock at another rock or chasing down some wildlife to make them drop the wisp. There's no real urgency to getting them, letting you explore at your leisure. Time does pass, however, so knowing where camping spots reside is very important to avoid the constant damage of nightfall. Playing through the campaign, there were a few glitches in general, though I did have the camera detached from the JETT a few times, causing me to reload the game. A few of the tasks to collect the wisps were also sometimes repetitive, but altogether quite tedious or just plain demanding, solely due to the nature of the camera and the controls. JETT: The Far Shore plus Given Time is a beautiful experience on the surface. The overall design is simplistic, but uses explosive colors and a beautiful soundtrack. The story has rich lore, and the exploration of the planet is fun. Additionally, it's enjoyable to scan and study how the surrounding areas can interact with each other. Unfortunately, this is sadly brought down by glitches and unwieldy controls, causing frustration and ultimately ruining the experience by breaking the game and preventing progression. Having only played the Steam version, I can't exactly recommend this version of the game. Still, the console version may be running better, but it's worth researching if you're interested. NoisyyPixel is giving JETT: The Far Shore plus Given Time a 5.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching. Please read the full review at NoisyyPixel.net. NoisyyPixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.
NoisyyPixel.